A very good morning. So today we are doing the poem that is A Legend of the Northland. So the Legend of the Northland is written by Phoebe Carey. Okay, and it's a ballad. Now, what is a ballad? A ballad is a song narrating a story in short stanzas. So ballad is a story in short stanzas. Ballads are a part of folk culture or popular culture. Okay, and are passed from one generation to another generation. A legend of Northland is a ballad. So this is about this poem as to a ballad. Now the title, A Legion of the Northland. Now, a legion. Now, legion, what is the meaning? Legion is, okay, old traditional story. So, this is an old traditional story of Northland. And it's written by Phoebe Carey. Okay, so I shall read the poem. Just look into your textbook. Away, away in the Northland, where the hours of the day are few and the nights are so long in winter that they cannot sleep them through. Okay, now away in the Northland. So this is in the North Pole. Okay, Northland is the North Pole and it is far away where the hours of the day are few. Now the days, okay, hours of the day, okay, are few, means the days are very short. The days are very short, okay, and the nights are long. So the days are short and nights are long. See, the days are short and the nights are long with the Northland. That they cannot sleep them through. Now here the word underline is written there. They, and they, who are they? They are the people. Okay, the people of Northland. They means the people of Northland, and they cannot sleep them through. So they, because the night is long, that doesn't mean they can go on sleeping. Okay, they have to get up on time, do their work on time, even though the night is long. Okay, so that they cannot sleep them through. The second para, where they harness the swift reindeer to the sledge when it snows, and the children look like bears' cubs in their funny, furry clothes. Now, in this paragraph, the word where they harness means they tie their sledge to the reindeer. Okay, the meaning of harness is harness means to tie the reindeer. With a rope to a sledge so that it can be used for transportation. Okay, so where there is snow, a sledge is used and that is drawn by the reindeers. Okay, so where they harness the swift reindeers. Now, swift, here again the meaning is swift, meaning is something that is very fast. Fast. Okay, swift. So, where they harness the swift reindeer to the sledge. So there the reindeer pulls. Okay, so it is tied to the sledge. The reindeers are tied to the sledge, Okay, with the help of a rope. Hmm? To the sledge when it snows. So when there is snow, the sledge is used for transportation, and this is tied by a rope to the reindeers, and the reindeers pull the sledge. So this happens when it snows over there. And the children look like bear's cub. Now why do these children look like bear's cub? It's because they wear the warm clothes, they tie their head. It's very cold because it snows over there. It's very cold, and that's the reason these children look like bear, because they're wearing caps, full sweaters, everything they have covered themselves. Okay, in their funny furry clothes. So furry means the sweaters, woolen clothes that they wear. So where they harness the swift reindeer to the sledge when it snows, and the children look like bears' cubs in their funny furry clothes. Okay, the next paragraph. They tell them a curious story. I don't believe this is true, and yet you may learn a lesson if I tell the tale to you. Okay. So now again the word they is the parents, okay, or the elders. Okay, here the parent means they means parents or elders. So they tell them. Now who is them in this line? They tell them. They is parents or elders, and them is children. They tell them. Okay, a curious story. Curious means strange. Curious means strange. Strange. Okay, they tell them a strange story. I don't believe this true. But what the writer says that I believe that it is not true. And yet you may learn a lesson. Though it is not true, but still from these stories, okay, you can learn a lesson. And I tell the tale to you. Tale means again story. Tale, story. Okay, so though it is not true, okay, but we can learn from this story. Something we can learn from this story. So they tell them a curious story. I don't believe. Now the word is given the TRS. It means this is. Okay, this true. I don't believe this is true. Okay, I don't believe this is true, and yet you may learn a lesson if I tell the tale to you. So, if I tell you the story, we learn or something, a lesson. Once, when the good Saint Peter lived in the world below and walked about it, preaching just as he did, you know. So here, once when a good Saint Peter, now Saint Peter was a disciple of Jesus. Okay, he was a disciple of Jesus. He lived in the world below. The world below means on the earth. Okay, world below means on the earth. So when he lived on the earth, the Saint Peter, and walked about it preaching. So the word meaning of preaching is a religious talk. Preaching means a religious talk. Okay, so when the saint was going, when he was living on the earth, he was going from one place to another, preaching or giving religious talks, and walked about it preaching just as he did, you know. So this is what that is Saint Peter did. Okay, he went on preaching when he lived on this earth from one place to another. And this is all we know about Saint Peter. He came to the door of a cottage. In traveling round the earth, where a little woman was making cakes and baking them on the hearth. Now here he came to the door of a cottage. Now who came to the door? That is Saint Peter. Okay, he came to the door, means as you're going from one place to another. Okay, he just knocked in on the door. Okay, he came to the door of a cottage. Cottage means a house. The meaning of cottage means a house. Okay, cottage means house, and when Saint Peter came to this cottage, okay, door in traveling round the earth. So when he was on his travel round the earth, as he was going from one place to another, he just happened to go to the door of this house or this cottage, where a little woman was making cakes. So in this cottage or in this house, there was one woman and she was baking cake, okay? And was baking cake and baking them on the hearth. Now hearth means a fireplace or a stove. Okay, so the meaning of hearth is H-E-A-R-T-H, hearth. Okay, fireplace where cooking is done. So now hearth means a fireplace where cooking is done. Okay, so this is hearth, the meaning of hearth. So he came, he is who? Saint Peter. Okay, Saint Peter came to the door of the cottage in traveling around the earth. So while he was traveling around the earth, he happened to go to this house. Okay, when a little woman was making cakes. So this woman was baking her cakes and she was baking them on the hearth. Hearth means a fireplace where cooking is done. And being faint with fasting, for the day was almost done, he asked her from a store of cakes to give him a single one. Now, here in this paragraph, what the poet is saying, and being faint. Here the word faint means weak. Okay, faint. Now he had not eaten for many days, so he was faint. He was very weak. Okay, he was weak. That is Saint Peter. He was weak. Okay, and being faint with fasting. So he had fasted for many days, and that's the reason he had become very weak. For the days was almost done. So for many days he had fasted, and for the day he was almost done. Done means again he has spent. Okay, for the whole day he had spent. He asked her from her store of cakes. So she was baking cakes. So she had a store and she had kept so many cakes in that store. Okay. So what he says, give me a single one. Give me one piece of cake. Who says? Saint Peter says. He says, give me a single piece of cake. So because he was very hungry, he was faint, he was weak, and that's the reason he just tells her that give me a small cake. One single cake he asked her. But what she does, let's see. Okay, so she made a very little cake, but as it baking lay, she looked at it and thought, okay, she looked at it and thought, it seemed too large to give away. Okay, so now in this line, so she made a very little cake. Now she had to give this saint a cake. This lady had to give because he asked for a piece of cake and she wanted to give him this cake. Okay, so what she did, she made a very little cake. This woman, she made a little cake. Okay, but as it baking day, so as this cake was getting baked, she looked at it. What she did, she looked at it and thought it seemed, now here the word seemed means appeared. Okay, seemed, appeared. Okay, so what it appeared? Too large to give. So as you know, the children, that when we put this batter of cake, okay, before it is baked, we put a little, but when it bakes, it flux and becomes big. Okay, and what happened here when this lady wanted to give this cake to Saint Peter? Okay, first and foremost, when he asked a single piece, she felt that that piece was too big to give it to Saint Peter, and that's why she thought of making another. Okay, so she started baking one, and when she baked, she felt that too is big, so it appeared very big to her. Okay, that she felt that it is too large to give it away. So she felt that the piece of cake was too large to give it to that again same. So first time she felt that was too big. Second time she baked it again, another cake. That also she felt that this cake is too big to give it away. Okay. Now too large means very big. Now next. Therefore, she needed another and still a smaller one. But it looked, when she turned it over, as large as the first had done. Now, therefore, what she did, she needed another. Now, needed is the meaning of needed to make dough from clothes. Needed to make dough from flour. Okay, so she again made a dough and she wanted to again bake this cake. And still a smaller one. So she wanted to still prepare a smaller cake. But it looked, when she turned it over, as large as the first had done. So when she baked this for the third time, okay, again she felt that this cake is big, like the first one only. The size of the first cake and the third cake was somewhat similar. Okay. Then she took a tiny scrap of dough and rolled it flat and baked it thin as a wafer, but she couldn't part with that. Now, here in this paragraph, okay, what happened? Then she had made first time the cake, second time she made, third time she made, she couldn't part with that cake of hers. Okay. Now for the fourth time, what she does, she took a tiny scrap. Okay, tiny scrap. Scrap means a small amount. So she took a small amount, okay, of dough and rolled. She rolled it and she rolled it into and made it flat. So she rolled that dough very thin, very flat, okay, and baked it thin as a wafer. And this time she made it so thin like a wafer. You have must have tasted a wafer, okay. So she made it like a wafer. Okay, she made it like a wafer, but she couldn't part with that. Also, she was so reluctant to give that wafer to Saint Peter. That also she was feeling is too big to give to Saint Peter. Okay. For she said, my cake that seems too small when I eat of them myself are yet too large to give away. So she put them on the shelf. Now here what she did, okay, first she said, now what she's saying that the cake that seemed too small, though this wafer is looking so small, she says, when I eat myself, so when I eat that wafer myself, she says, are yet too large to give away. So she's telling that is still large to give it away to the other person. Okay, that's what she is feeling. That also wafer is too large to give away. So she kept them on the shelf. So that also cake she did not give the person who wanted it, the same Peter who wanted this cake. She did not give him, and she kept this cake on the shelf. Okay, she prepared this cake like a wafer for the fourth time, and that also she kept on a shelf. Then good Saint Peter grew angry. Now Saint Peter was very angry. Okay, he was very angry because he was very hungry. He wanted to eat. He asks her only one piece of cake. Okay, single cake. He asks her. Okay, she feels that it's too big, so she prepares for him for the second time. That also she feels it is too big to give him. Third time she prepares. That also she's feeling that it's too big to give him. Fourth time she prepares it's so thin like a wafer. That too she feels it is too big and she keeps that on the shelf. Okay, now this person that Saint Peter was very angry on this woman. He called her selfish woman. Okay, he was very, very angry. For she said, my cakes that seem too small when I eat. Okay, this I have completed. Then good Saint Peter grew angry, for he was hungry and faint. And surely such a woman was enough to provoke a saint. So now what happened? He was very angry that this Saint Peter was very angry, for he was hungry and faint. Because Saint Peter was very hungry and feeling very weak. Faint means weak. Okay, now as he was very hungry and faint, and surely such a woman, and he had been to such a woman asking her to give a piece of cake, was now enough to provoke a saint, to cause or to get angry. Provoke means to get angry. Or a cause to get angry. So, was enough for the saint to get angry now. And he said, you are far too selfish to dwell in a human form, to have both food and shelter and fire to keep you warm. So, what is now the Saint Peter saying? What is saying to this woman? Okay, you are too selfish. Now he said that you are too selfish. Okay, and to dwell. Dwell means to live. Dwell, to live. Okay, and he's saying to dwell in a human form, to be in a human form, he says. Okay, in a shape of a human body. Human form means in the shape of a human body. Okay, he says to live in a human body, to have both food and shelter, and you're so selfish. Okay, he says, and you got food and shelter. Food, shelter. Okay, he says you're having food and shelter and fire to keep you warm. So he says that first and foremost you're a selfish woman who says, Saint Peter says, and you are having everything, you're having food, you're having shelter, and you're having warmth. Okay, a fire to keep you warm. A fire to keep you warm means comfort. You're comfortable. Okay, that means whatever is necessary for your life, God has given you. Okay, but you are so selfish. You are very selfish, but see that God has given you food, He has given you shelter, He has given you comfort. Okay, everything you got, and you are so selfish. Says Saint Peter says this. Okay, and fire to keep you warm. Now you shall build as the birds do, and shall get your scanty food by boring and boring and boring all day in the hard, dry wood. So now Saint Peter cursed this woman. Okay, and what he said? Now you shall build as a birds do. So he said, now you shall be like a bird. Okay, like a bird, and shall get your scanty food. Now here the meaning of scanty is little. Now you get little food. This lady had so much food, but she was not able to give a small piece of cake to Saint Peter. Okay, and now here he says that the Saint Peter says you live like a bird and you have scanty. Scanty means very little. Scanty food. Very little. So he says that you will get very little food, and that also how? By boring and boring and boring. Okay, now what is boring? Boring and boring. Boring means making a hole. Making a hole. So this is what he has cursed her. Now he says that you will be a bird, you will have scanty food, very less food, and to gain your food you have to go on boring and boring and boring. That is making a hole. Okay, making a hole all day in the hard, dry wood. So he said you have to be in the forest. Dry wood means where the trees are dry. In that you have to make hole. Okay, and wood means forest. So now you shall build as the birds do, and shall get your scanty food by boring and boring all day in the hard, dry wood.